Welcome to Life Science New York's Spotlight Conversations, a regular series of online conversations with thought leaders, educational leaders, and others in New York's biomed industry. I'm pleased to be joined today by two representatives of RIT and RIT's Saunders College of Business, Dean Jackie Mozrall and Rick Lagasi, the co-director of the EMBA program at the Saunders College of Business at RIT. Jackie, Rick, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Listen, we tend to like to start these conversations by learning a little bit more about the folks that we're talking to. And Jackie, I'll start with you. I'm wondering if you can share with us a bit of your background and what brings you to RIT and your work at Saunders.
So interestingly, if you go way back, I actually got my undergraduate degree from RIT in industrial and systems engineering. And I then went on to graduate school at NC State and then University of Buffalo. And my disciplinary focus area was actually ergonomics and biomechanics, which relates to our discussion today. And based on my education in industrial engineering and ergonomics and biomechanics, I obviously understand the value and importance of bringing and bridging disciplines together across management and engineering and science. And so then I came back to RIT as a faculty member in industrial engineering and moved up through different positions. I was department chair of industrial engineering at RIT and then became associate dean of the Kate Gleason College of Engineering at RIT. And an interim position opened in Saunders College to serve as interim dean. And so I was asked to do that and took advantage of that opportunity and just fell in love with the community within Saunders College, the community of faculty and staff and students, and stayed on as dean and have now been serving as dean for 10 years. But again, I think something that's special about RIT is we don't always respect disciplinary boundaries. And I think we take advantage and try to leverage who we are. And we are a university at that intersection between business and science and technology and engineering. And that's a strategic advantage for us.
And Rick, how about you? What brings you to RIT? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Somewhat similar, at least in origins, to Jackie. I do have a degree from RIT also. Back in the mid-1990s, when the internet was new, RIT was looking to open a branch campus in Dubrovnik, Croatia, to help rebuild the tourism sector along the Adriatic coast. So they were reaching out to alums and any young couples that might be adventurous to go work overseas at this sort of unknown part of the world after a war. So I went and had a sabbatical from SUNY Plattsburgh to go with my wife and work in 1998 at our campus in Dubrovnik, Croatia. A couple of years later, I had a small grant fellowship from the State Department to look at transitional economies. So basically businesses that were moving from communism, socialism to a market economy in Croatia, in the Balkans in general. And to take that fellowship, we both basically had to, my wife and I, quit our positions and go work for RIT full-time in Croatia. After some time there, the opportunity opened to come work on the campus here in Rochester. During that time, I've worked on different campuses from Kosovo obviously Croatia, Dubai, etc. A couple of years ago, or a little bit longer than actually, the opportunity came up to work with the Leadership Academy with my current co-director, Dr. Molly McGowan. And the Leadership Academy in Saunders was a way to connect students through multiple programs. Some of these were leadership certificates, and these were targeting students primarily who were not in business majors across the campus. So they could be engineering students, bioengineering students, PhD students, art students to come and take business certificate programs. Additionally, we did mentorship programs where we connected upperclassmen with our incoming freshman class. So working together with Molly and the Leadership Academy, when the opportunity came to direct the Executive MBA program and executive education, Molly and I worked together to be selected for those positions. So that's kind of how I ended up in the role I'm in today.
And let's turn a little bit to RIT itself and Saunders. And Jackie, you really, I think, alluded to it in some of your comments. You know, RIT certainly is a unique institution in its focus, its historical focus, really, in experiential learning and connections to industry. It's really fascinating today, is certainly in our conversations with our commercial members, who increasingly are saying to us that they're always looking to hire their next employees from internships, from work experiences, from a student population that has a grounded background in business. And I'm curious to hear your philosophies about how to integrate those kind of practices into the program and the focus of the EMBA program at Saunders.
Yeah, certainly the history of RIT is rich in terms of applied learning. And I think we've embraced that tradition and history and remain true to that today, from the undergraduate level to the graduate level to our highly regarded executive MBA program. And when I think about the executive MBA program, it's applied and it's relevant. And we want working professionals to be able to take what they're learning one day and apply it the following week.
And walk me through a little bit of the logistics. And Rick, maybe you can help on this end. Who is kind of the target student, or what do your students look like, and what are the demands of the EMBA program? I presume it's a program that coordinates with work schedules, right? You're talking about students who are otherwise engaged in full-time employment rather than full-time students.
Exactly. So the group of students is quite diverse. I would say at least at an average of a minimum of 5 to 7 years minimum of experience coming into the program. We have two primary delivery models. One is completely online. One is more of a hybrid in person. So the online one is really set to have classes in the evening, usually after 7 p.m. Now, these classes are generally in hour blocks, but the 7 p.m. is because we generally have students that are across the globe, but also on the West Coast. So to kind of make sure that we're working around class schedules, around their work schedule. So generally in the evening. The hybrid format, students would come to campus generally once every couple of weeks, and that's being altered a little bit to make that a little bit more condensed over a period of 6 to 8 weeks, to come once or twice to be able to engage in person with their in-person faculty member. In terms of the the life sciences students, very diverse, from very high-end medical labs to biotech firms to scientists. Group that we have coming in now, we have several with doctorate degrees, and their primary interest is what you alluded to before. They're looking at a point in their career where maybe it's less about the lab and more about running the company, running a division. So the type of courses around negotiation, strategy, finance are something they're looking to get a formal experience with.
And are you finding students coming primarily from established corporate experiences or entrepreneurial startups, or across the range?
I would say across the range. This recent cohort's a little bit more coming from established industries. I think as they see the diversity of what's going on with takeovers and startups with biotech firms, that's even driving more motivation to understand the business side of what they're doing. You know, these are extremely smart students, very well-educated, you know, graduate degrees, doctorate degrees in biology, chemistry, engineering. But as I said, now they realize they're doing less of that and they need more of the business acumen.
And physically, where are your students coming from, Jackie? Are they primarily in the Rochester area? Do you have students, presumably, certainly on your online programs, really opened you up to being a place without a location?
Yeah, and I can let Rick provide additional details, but in general, we still get a critical mass of students, even with the online program, in the Western New York region. But then the remainder of the students is far beyond that, from California to Europe to Asia.
Yeah, I think some of the obvious external locations, you know, are obviously New York City, Boston, LA, you know, some of the hubs of tech and industry, those corridors are where we're getting the online students who are not from the region. The in-person ones, sometimes individuals, it just works that regionally they can commute in or drive in historically, whether it be Massachusetts, you know, Canada, Pennsylvania, the region.
You know, one of the things, and those who have listened to me for a while know that, you know, I'm a big proponent of identifying really the geographic locations of upstate New York as really ideally situated to exploit some of the opportunities in the life sciences. Certainly, you know, the Boston corridor is an established leading place, but increasingly Western New York, Toronto, certainly northwestern Pennsylvania, northeastern Ohio, and are places of real life sciences innovation. And candidly, you can't get from Boston to Cleveland in any other way than right down the thruway, Interstate 90, Erie Canal corridor. And it's really been encouraging to watch institutions and communities along that pathway really learn to exploit some of those opportunities. And so I'm encouraged to hear that that's a part of the focus at RIT as well.
If I can add something to that, you know, part of the life science grant we have from Empire State Development focuses on that entrepreneurial aspect. So, you know, here at RIT, you know, across all disciplines, we have a strong Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. So some of the students have gone through and taken seminars and courses through this grant that are emphasizing both entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship related directly to the healthcare sector. Students also, you know, take courses specific to biodesign, bioregulations, informatics. So that's kind of preparing them to see some of that process of idea to end goal product or service.
And unfortunately, we're up against some time, but before we wrap up, for students, and we will include some websites and other connecting information in the chat, but for students that are interested in learning more about Saunders or connecting, how best should they do that?
I think through the email that we'll include, two options for students. Well, actually three. One would just obviously have a phone conversation with ourselves. We've also connected students to other life science students and alums to have conversations about the experience. Additionally, they could join an online class and sit in on a class and get a sense of what the experience is like. And coming up in the fall, we'll also be offering some open house, mini lectures that are just open to students interested in learning about the program. So they could also attend one of those just to get a feel for what it might be like coming back to school, what it might be like to be in a lecture with one of our faculty members, what the discussion's like. So I think the best way would be to reach out through the email, either have a phone conversation or join one of the classes or lectures.
Well, listen, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Jackie, did you want to?
I was just going to say, adding to Rick's discussion, I think there's lots of different ways you can test drive the program. But certainly talking with our alumni is an important piece, because our alumni are our best asset and just are very excited about the experience and the journey that they've taken in our EMBA program.
Well, listen, thank you very much for spending some time. RIT is, an integral part of New York's life sciences community. And to the extent that you are helping to enrich the workforce, the strength of our communities, it really is an important part of growing biomed, healthcare, life sciences across the region, across the state, and really providing cures and life-saving treatments to patients around the world. So Dean Mozrall, Rick Lagasi, thank you both for spending some time with us. I would encourage anyone who's not familiar with RIT to spend at least a little time on the website and certainly connect with the folks at the Saunders College of Business and the EMBA program, a really unique and important asset. So thank you very much for spending some time with us. We will look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wim.
Thanks.